Alright, godlings, making some coffee. Okay, so around here where I'm at, there's a lot of talk about ICE being around. Now, I understand people's attitudes towards illegal immigrants right now, okay? And well, I don't understand the whole politics behind that, and I understand what happened, that they were let in illegally, yada yada yada. Okay, however, let's go to this now. What I see, and I could be wrong. Okay, I could be wrong. What I'm seeing is, and I've seen this for a long time, is that everything that happened in pre-Nazi Germany is happening right here in America, and you can research Naomi Wolf, The End of America. Now, in Nazi Germany, it started out with a certain select group of people. Okay, I'm going to be careful with my wording here. But it started out with a select group of people, and it was widely broadcasted, and everybody was against that group because of propaganda. Now, there might have been something else going on. I don't know. Okay, there might have been something illegal stuff and bad stuff actually going on. I don't know that part. I know a little bit about history, and what I know, I'm going to tell you. So it started out with one select group of people, and then it was extended to other groups of peoples, okay? Remember this. Now, everybody talks about how could that happen? How could everybody let that happen? To me, it's happening right now. Now, they're starting with the illegals because no one likes the illegals, I guess. But here's the thing. It's starting out with one group of people, and I hope it doesn't continue, but I don't see where it's going to stop. I personally think it's going to eventually extend to other groups of people. Now, if you remember back to a certain instance in our history not too long ago, there was a certain Patriot Act passed. And I don't want to say that, but I don't think that'll get me banned, but either way, but it was called the Patriot Act, which says that you, me, anyone can be dubbed enemy of the state or domestic terrorists for all sorts of different reasons, okay? Now, these things are happening. And I'll tell you, years ago, before I end this video, years ago I was working at the animal shelter carrying cats for the spay and neuter clinic. And this older lady was there. And she was like, I want to tell you something. She was like in her 80s then, I think. She was old, pretty old. But she said, I want to tell you something. Her daughter was like, oh, Mom, he doesn't have time for that. I was like, yeah, I do. You know, when older people talk, I like to listen. You know, they usually have something important to say. And if they don't, it's good to mind your elders and listen. You know, it really is. So anywho, I don't know. I can't remember where she mentioned she was from, if she did at all. But all she said was, what's going on in this country right now, I don't like it. And I guess that she had been somewhere else, and I don't know if it was the Ukraine, Russia, or somewhere overseas, but she had seen the same stuff happen there. And we chatted a little bit. I was like, yeah, so, you know, so I'm not surprised at what's going on right now, okay? Now, you know, whether the illegals are bad and they need to go away, I don't know that for positive. I don't think they're all that bad, you know. Everybody's... you know, because remember in the 1800s, we were letting people come here, immigrants, and they were building this country. You know, now all of a sudden they're bad people. We don't want them here. Well, all I'm saying is that, you know, while everybody's on their high horse and pointing their fingers at the illegals, and throwing other people under the bus right now, it's probably not a stretch to say that eventually the people doing that will themselves get thrown under the bus. Okay, just be careful out there, folks, okay? Stay aware, be safe.